this is going to rock your world, but apparently Gen Z are lonely. And suck shit to them, because they're all little shits anyway, you snarky little fucks. Yeah, you're really good at taking digs, aren't you? Well, that's all you have, and you know it. You're never gonna own a house. You don't remember Cheese TV. You have nothing. You have no culture of your own. All you have is just shitting on everyone else's culture. That's your culture. And I can't really blame you. I really was just kind of a vanguard of what you guys became. But and also you have your youth and I don't. So that's pretty good. Gen Z are very lonely. Oh, that sucks. I would care if you were nice people, but they are very lonely to the point that I think that last year, something along the lines of, it was the high 60s of people that reported being lonely. And now we're in the mid 70s. So pretty much 75% of Gen Z, there I said it, they're all lonely. They're all those angry loners that Danos Direct TV at 3 a.m. in the morning used to aim at, but that's the entire generation now. They're all sitting at home thinking, wow, that kitchen knife can cut through a shoe. If only it could cut through sad feelings. You losers. As a generation in general. Some of you are legends. Thank you very much, especially those of you who donate to Jordan Shanks. Make sure that you sign up for more of these motivating, uplifting messages. Yes, I think that we all know where this is going. We all know why they're lonely. And I want you to just say, and I'm going to say the really controversial point that obviously people who spend all of their life online are going to go, no, you're not my mental health, all this shit, right? But it's like, yeah, okay, I will give this to you. Mental health does exist. It's shocking, I know. Did you know it's really overdiagnosed? Yeah, as I've stated, and I hate how you always have to put this softener at the beginning of it every time, because everyone should know what you're saying when you're saying what you're about to say, right? Which is that, yeah, there is a small minority of people that have these things that do have like a chemical imbalance in their brain. Highly recommend that you go to the doctor for it. Having said that though, just like if your leg was blown off in a landmine, I don't think that that gives you an excuse for the rest of your life to not work out. Yeah? This is where I'm going with this, which is that most of these things is just bad mental hygiene. It's not that you need root canal surgery, you just aren't brushing your teeth. That's what self-help is. Self-help is you, hey, dummy, have you thought about what you're grateful for today? Or did you just spend fucking 6 hours scrolling on TikTok being like, oh, this is someone calling out people that say that curly hair is like just making fun of African Americans. Oh, this is somebody out there that's just saying that body positivity has now become shaming in a way. Oh, wow, that's something I really need to think about. It's just endlessly negative people being like, you suck, fuck you, this person, can we just stop this? And then people are disgusting, gross. Right? Like, you don't need to be inundated with that. There are very few people in life that you need to know are horrific, which is just mostly people that actually affect the way that you live. But that's a tiny, tiny minority of the people that are just like, fuck me, right? But obviously, as we all know about state transfer from this channel, you are inundated in that vibe. Well, what's your vibe going to be? It's going to be depressed and anxious, like all of the shit that you're consuming. Of course it is. But if you're consuming a bunch of uplifting, positive messages and things about like, hey, this is how you improve your life, this is how you get forward in life, you're going to feel a hell of a lot better, aren't you? Yes. Even the basics of what am I grateful for? Because this is something that the Stoics figured out 2,000 years ago, which is you don't really need anything to feel happy. The bare minimum needs to be fulfilled. In fact, probably some of those don't even need to be fulfilled. I honestly think it's just kind of like if you're vaguely full and vaguely not dying of thirst, after that, all systems go. A lot of the time, unless you have insanity, some kind of like really, the brain equivalent of being born with one bad kidney, a lot of the time, you can just fix these and be extremely happy and extremely connected with other people. You can have a life where you get up every day and you're excited to get up every day, and you're just like, I don't have enough time to go to sleep, and you're feeling always just like, oh, okay, I've got this awesome thing happening and then this awesome thing's happening. That's extremely possible, especially in this day and age, and you're trading it all away for just all these people sitting there just being like, that's wrong, can we just stop this now? Like, come on, like you're living in the modern age. You have everything at your disposal. You become a global celebrity by just turning on your phone. There is nothing really to not be grateful about. There's so many things to be happy about. And these are the things that I think start to move you around, because this is like something that, like a little trick for loneliness, which is that just because you're alone doesn't mean you have to be lonely. These are two different feelings. Loneliness, I think, comes from this idea of FOMO. It feels like you're missing out on things in life. That's when you feel lonely. If you don't feel like you're missing out on things in life, if you're bringing the party yourself, first off, you'll be invited to more parties to begin with. But the second thing is, no, like, I spend a lot of time alone. I do not ever feel alone. The reason I don't is because all of social media is designed to do is to sit there and be like, my life is awesome, your life sucks, this person sucks, I think that you're vaguely somebody like this, you suck, I'm amazing. That's the general message of social media. Now, if you cut that out and you're sitting there and you're working on something all day, you know what you notice? You know the day goes even if you're by yourself. So even if you don't have any friends, this is not a reason for you to be lonely. Loneliness is a state of mind. Being alone is a fact. Those are the two different distinctions that are there, first off. But I think that a lot of it really just comes from the feeling that you are getting inundated with over and over, which is you're missing out. You're also feeling a hell of a lot more depressed. I will never shut up about this stat because it's so true. The more time you spend in front of the computer, the more depressed you are going to be. In fact, I honestly think that the reason that we see these like explosions in mental health, when I really don't think that there are that many people that are being born with brain deficiencies. I think that there's just a lot of people out there that are not doing the basics to give themselves, like it shouldn't even be called mental health. You know what it should be called a lot of the time? Mental fitness. That's what we're talking about here. We are talking about, do you go out on a walk and think about the things that you're grateful for? And do you force yourself to smile? And do you make sure that you're like physically oxygenating your body all of the time? Do you do these things? And even if you do have one of these like very rare instances where like there is something not firing off in your brain correctly, like the guy that doesn't have a leg, that is not an excuse for you to sit on your ass for the rest of your life. Like you should still be doing these things because these have untold compounding effects on the rest of your life. On the rest of your life. So it's not necessarily that it's going to like cure your chemically bound depression, but you walking is good for the rest of your body. It's good for the rest of your organs. And if it's good for the rest of your organs, like, and like, the ability to just sit there and cultivate a positive, grateful mentality in life, that is going to get you very, very far. Very far. Because it's not just a thing of like people want to be hanging around somebody who's positive and grateful. It's not just that. It's also when the chips are legitimately down, as in like the physical world around you has changed, you're able to stand that better. Sorry. So we'll go back to this point, which is, just like with drug addicts, I remember reading years ago that there's very little difference between a sociopath and a drug addict in how they behave. Because really, what is a sociopath? A sociopath is someone who just does whatever they want for what they want, without any consideration of anything else. Now, what's a drug addict? Somebody that does anything to get the drug, without any consideration of anything else. It's pretty much the same person. It's just like a very limited thing that they're going after. And if they get the help they need, then they no longer behave like a sociopath anymore. That's really the only difference. They're just temporary sociopaths. I think it is the same thing with all of these Gen Z people that are always, reporting a lot of depression and loneliness and all of these things. Yes, in the small minority of instances, just like with every other generation, sure. It shouldn't be at these 75% levels. No chance in hell. That is something that you can control, and I think it is because, much like drug addicts behaving like sociopaths. I think that if you spend a lot of time on TikTok, you spend a lot of time on Instagram, you spend a lot of time on your computer, you will start mimicking the behaviors of someone who's mentally ill. Like, what does somebody who's mentally ill do when they walk down the street? They're just like, fucking cunt dogs, hell had to get me, fuck them all, fuck, and keep walking. What is the difference between that and someone on Twitter? Right? I mean, I've done it before in the past. We all have. It's just that's what that evokes. That's what that elicits. Yeah? What is somebody that is walking around depressed all day have in their head? This is fucked. Everything's fucked. Everyone sucks. I suck. I'm terrible. Everyone I know that love my grandma's dead. Fuck. Go on TikTok now. What will most of it be? We need to have a conversation about that's really legitimately. You're laughing at that? Seriously? You're going to be doing that? Oh my God. Same shit. It's just unhealthy. It's clearly unhealthy. It's represented in the stats. Two things. First off, being alone, you should want to cultivate being alone anyway. Like, you should be able to get to the point of mental fortitude where you can spend long periods of time by yourself. I cannot describe this enough, especially if you're in a creative job. You need to be a lone wolf. You need to spend a lot of time by yourself, because that is where true creativity comes from. Creativity is the exact opposite of knowledge and learning. Creativity is just sitting around with your brain and letting it move where it needs to move, and so you connect ideas surprisingly. That requires time. That requires uninterrupted thought. But also, this is the other thing, like the tool of social media, they're always saying these things, just people that don't feel lonely in life, these extremely extroverted people, they are on social media a lot. It's just that they have friends and they're talking to them and they're just enhancing it. And so they're kind of just talking to them on the way to meeting them, right? But people that aren't, are people that are kind of just like gotten rid of all of their friends. They've lost how to actually properly socially interact with people, which is something that I see a lot with a lot of Gen Z people. It's just like something, you used to be cool. You used to be cool, and now there's something not firing off properly in your heads because of how much social media you consume, and it's just something that's just like not... It's like they're kind of like glitching like a Morrowind character when they're socially interacting. And dude, I'm not the most social man on earth. But even me, somebody who's just like an absolute borderline social retard, like even I could see that person is just like, no, that there's something, but that is happening a lot. It is because of this. It's like the behavior that you are seeing being elicited on there, you think is normal behavior. And I suppose it is. It has been like normalized. Yay, it's not a good thing. But clearly it's not. If this is the outcome that you're getting. But I think that if you replace, this is like what we're saying about like, you know, passive and active activities. You want to be putting more of your focus in life onto active activities as opposed to passive activities, which is like watching TV, playing computer games on TikTok. You want to be instead honing a skill, doing something that is going to move you forward in life. I think that the same can be said about lonely and alone. Friends is not that hard, especially when you're in high school. I mean, Jesus Christ, good luck. The drop-off is going to be massive once you're out. But the second point that I'd like to add to all of this is, if you spent the same amount of time alone without social media, you wouldn't feel lonely. If you were occupying it with stuff that was like, okay, I'm going to be writing like a music piece or something like that, you're not going to feel lonely. You're going to crave being alone. That's all it is. It's just another way of people describing the general sickness. And I do think that this is what it's like, right? Like, I do think that when people are talking about mental illness as a result of these things, that's really what's happening there. It's kind of like you just eating a bunch of fairy floss and nothing else. Like, yes, you are going to feel sick. You are going to feel sick in the mind if that is what you're doing with your life. So you are going to get off it. You're going to follow this channel. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to subscribe to this channel, the free ones, by the way, Gen Z. And if you're one of those kids that's just like, Mum, get me some Candy Crush extra credit points, you fucking bitch. Make sure that you do the same thing. Swear at your mum. Be as abusive as possible to make sure that she gets you onto Jordan Shanks. Because I do swear by this. It is the cheapest program in the world for the best results. I can't walk down the street now without people coming up to me and you changed my life. You changed I've got so many things. I had nothing and now everything's going in the right direction. And it's because I am sitting there giving you activities, giving you mental fortitude, giving you these distinctions to change the way that your brain thinks so that your brain is more effective, because this is what happens if you don't. You keep going for 10 years, you don't sign up to Jordan Shanks, or at least, start reading self-help. Your brain's going to be mush. It's going to become more and more mushy. You don't, it's going to get sharper and sharper and better, and you will be one of the few people in your generation especially that is going to excel in life, which just becomes easier and easier. And I've said it before, I'll say it again, it's lonely at the top. How ironic. What I'm saying by that is there's very few people that go down this path. Dare you be one of the few that do, as opposed to the many who talk. Sign up to Jordan Shanks then, you little shit.